Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Cyngn's channel. We have a very special guest for you guys today, the new head of sales at Cyngn, Mr. Chris Wright, recently added onto the team. Curious about your background, but first off, Chris, how are you doing today on Friday, the 10th of February?
I'm doing great. I appreciate it. No, it's been a great week, and looking forward to the weekend. We got Super Bowl coming up this weekend. Gonna have a party and some family over, so it should be a fun weekend. And then no rest for the weary. Right back out. I'll fly at about 2 a.m. that morning, heading out to a trade show in Orlando.
Perfect. Well, I won't ask you who you're rooting for because I don't want to alienate half the people watching it. But have fun with that. And yeah, so curious before we dive into what you're doing with Cyngn now and your new role, I'm kind of curious about how you wound up here. So talk to me a bit about like your past experience and what really motivates you as like a salesman.
I appreciate that. I've been in different types of sales in my career. I've been in sales for over 30 years. Over that time, I've sold chemicals, commercial and industrial cleaning equipment, and then really focused in the last 6 years or so in robotics and autonomy. I'd worked for a company for many years selling manual equipment is probably the easiest way to explain it in the commercial and industrial segments, and had an opportunity to get into and starting to see some emerging of autonomous and robotics in the industry. And then had through a relationship had an opportunity to go to work for a company called Brain Corporation, and they were just starting to try to commercialize robotic and autonomous cleaning equipment. And to me, that was fascinating. I've always been kind of a tech geek, always kind of looking at all the tech and being able to get in on that kind of leading edge. So I joined them and had a fantastic time, learned made some great relationships and contacts. And then, was there for about 4.5 years, a little longer than that. Tried something else for a year, working for a large integrated facilities management company. And then through some contacts was put in contact with Cyngn. And that just kind of right away kind of was right in my wheelhouse. A up and coming company with some cutting edge autonomous solutions, and really hyper focused and trying to get into the industrial market in a very competitive way, and offering some options that others don't. And to me, getting back in on the ground level was right what I was looking to do. And interviewed with them, and fortunately, it was a good fit. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be here.
Perfect. Yeah, it does sound like you match up really well with what Syngn's doing here. And so from there, I'm curious. So you mentioned a trade show. I'm sure that's a part of what your role is. But talk to me about your role as head of sales, what all that encompasses, and what a day was going to be like in the head of sales at Cyngn.
Yeah. It's kind of drinking from a fire hose at first, kind of coming in, and, we're so heavy in engineering, obviously, as we're moving forward, and we've got some just brilliant and amazing people on the team. But, making that transition from taking a product that I'll call it a garage project at first. You've got a great thing and it works, but now you got to be able to commercialize it. You
Yeah.
got to be able to take it out into the world and get people to see the value and get excited about it, and get them to purchase it. So for me, it's gathering that data on the engineering side, working with our hardware and engineering teams to make sure the product is ready to go to market. Find our first key customers that we've already started to do that will help kind of launch that product. And then at the same time, working with marketing to build the strategy and the messaging, and working to get the name out, hire some more people for the sales team, get some inside people, some additional outside. So wearing a lot of hats at the moment, but exactly where I want to be.
Yeah, perfect. It kind of sounds like sales is a creative process in its own. And the way you had described it, would you say it's more exciting when you're pushing an idea of something where, as you said, you're a techie kind of guy. So a lot of what you're doing when you're selling is probably a lot of educating people on the product as well, correct?
Yeah, there is absolutely that learning curve, and fortunately, there's been enough technology that has come out in the last 10 years or so that has really kind of made the conversations easier. And you can thank companies like Tesla and Roomba and iRobot and all those kind of
Mhm.
commercialized that everybody knows about, because that kind of lays the seed toward robotics and autonomy. That it's not completely new, because a lot of times people think when they think robotics or autonomy, they think that there's no involvement from humans, and a lot of times no, it's actually a word that's commonly used is the word cobotic, is that there's it's kind of a relationship, a symbiotic relationship between the individuals working around the robots. And that kind of has helped the conversation. So now when you go in, it's educating on how we can help them in their facilities and where the technology is now and where it's going.
Mhm.
And we at least don't have to talk about, oh, what is autonomy? They all have a basic understanding of it now.
Yeah.
Now we just need to educate them on what the real world is. I mean, a lot of times we still hear sometimes people going, "Is this like Skynet, Terminator?" But
Yeah. Yeah.
no, that is not what it is. But so it is going through an education process and gathering the data. But the great thing is, everybody's looking at it because there are so many struggles going on in the workforce.
Mhm.
And one of the big misconceptions is that autonomy is here to replace individuals, and really we're here to work side by side with them, because companies are just struggling to find people at all to do jobs. We're not trying to replace jobs, we're just trying to fill in that gap.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an important step and something that's going to become the norm eventually, right? This will be something that lays out across everything. And you're right, it's funny, people will think of things like Skynet and so on, but I for one welcome our robot overlords. And but no, I mean you're right. Like you kind of do see, you see the iRobots, Roombas in people's houses now. So they're definitely getting warmed up to the idea, and I put stickers all over mine to make it a little more personable.
Yeah.
Um, but so then I guess kind of converting back to the sales side of it a little bit, what would you say like are the real pearls of wisdom to being a good salesman and being able to push even like a new product to people and educate them on it and so on?
That's a great question. For me, really, initially being in sales, for over 30 years, for me, when I go meet any client, potential client, old client, I I try to build a relationship, just out of friendship, and I want to treat people the same way I want to be treated. So for me, there's no master skill in the sense of what does it take to be a good salesman. I think number one rule is just treat people the way you want to be treated, and treat them with honesty and respect. And for me, I'm always very cautious on making sure that they understand what we can do and where we're going. And I never overpromise, because that's the last thing I want to do is be able to, oh, we can do that, and then in reality when we come in we can't. So I think the one of the biggest thing is being very transparent with your clients, open and honest, and educate them along that journey. Talk to them about, all right, I see what you're doing today. This is how we can help. But if we are able to now, let's say we're able to do automatic docking with our autonomous, and we are able to do automatic latching for a cart, would that be something that could then elevate this and we could open up other areas? So it's just this constant learning curve as you're going through this, because our engineers are constantly are pushing and learning and are coming up with new ideas, and we need to help educate our clients about where it's headed.
Yeah. Well, it kind of sounds like the golden rules to being a good salesman is kind of the golden rules to being a good person. Authenticity definitely gets you a lot farther than facade. So yeah, thank you for the
Yeah.
insight, Chris, and it was great getting to know you a little bit. Look forward whenever there's big things on the sales side, you to potentially come back on and share some exciting updates. But thank you again for your time. Any closing words from you before we go?
Yeah, just appreciate the time, and keep an eye on Cyngn. We've got a lot of exciting projects coming, and so I know the next time we'll talk, I know I'll be able to talk about some pretty exciting things that we're working on, and some clients and customers. So looking forward to it. Really appreciate this opportunity. It was great getting to know you as well.
Perfect. Thank you everybody for watching as well. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to send them over. For now, Chris, please have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you.